Hi students, I hope all are fine. So we are learning the story about three friends who had gone for boating, okay, for enjoyment. So it is written by Jerome K. Jerome and we are seeing an edited version. We have already seen it. So we found that these three friends, Jerome, George and Harry, they planned to go for a swim in the morning. They were already in the boat, okay, as part of their picnic or outing. So they made a plan that they would go for swimming in the morning, okay. But when they got up in the morning, they found that the water was very chilly and there was very cold wind. So because of that, they were of they were having two minds whether to swim or not. And we have George and Harry already making up their mind, saying that okay, it would be messy and it is not advisable that we dive into the water and swim because it is very cold. So they made their view, and it was left to Jerome. Okay, it was left to Jerome whether to swim or not. So the decision was left to Jerome whether he wants to swim or not. So we shall see in this class whether Jerome goes for swimming or he doesn't go, or he just follows the path of his friends. Okay, so we shall just continue from where we have stopped. So it was Jerome's idea in the first place, and he desperately wanted to show that it wasn't a harebrained idea at all. Though now he did not relish the plunge, he began to make excuses for himself. There might be snakes about or weeds, but then he decided to save face by going down to the edge and just dipping his legs in the river. He took a towel, crept out onto the bank, and wormed his way along onto the branch of a tree that dipped down into the water. Okay, so what happened? Now the decision was left to Jerome whether to go and swim or not. It was very cold and he also did not feel like swimming. But since Jerome was the one who brought up this idea of having a swim, so he wanted to show his courage or show his friends that his idea was not a bad one, and he doesn't want to go back on his words. But since it was cold, he made up his mind and he said, okay, it is very cold, it is not it is I know that it is not advisable to swim because it is very cold, and there can be, he made excuses saying there can be snakes and there can be weeds and so on, it won't be good to swim there. Okay, he made so many excuses, and he said in order to save his face, since he made the idea, what did he do? He just thought of going and dipping his leg in the water. So he made up his mind and he just went to a tree which was nearby, which just went down to the water. Okay, so he just went there in order to wet his legs. All right, in order to wet his legs, he went near the tree. So let us see what happens. It was bitterly cold. The wind cut like a knife as he stood on the overhanging branch. Then he started having a second thoughts. He would meekly go back into the boat and rest. He decided to risk their jeers, but as he turned, the wicked branch gave way, and he and the towel went in together with a tremendous splash. He was out midstream with a liter of the Thames water inside him before he knew what had happened. Okay, what happens now? It was very cold. He was there. He just went to wet his leg, and he was on top of a branch which was going down to the water. Okay, so he was just standing there and he just wet his leg, but it was very cold. Okay, as it is said, the wind cut like a knife, means to say it was biting cold and he could not bear it. So he thought, okay, it is okay to get the be a laughing stock, or be for his friends to be made fun of. He thought, okay, let them make fun of, but it is very cold, I need to get back. So Jerome thought like that, and he thought, okay, I would go back to the cabin, okay, go back to the boat. But what happened? Then something happened which was never expected by Jerome or his friends. Okay, the branch on which he was standing, it did not carry him. Okay, means to say that Jerome slipped and went into the water. Okay, so before he could realize what has happened, he had already drunk so much of water. As it is said, a liter of Thames water went inside him. Means to say, he had already drank so much of water. He was already in the water. The branch gave him up, and he fell into the water with his towel, and he did not realize what had happened. Before that itself, he had drunk so much of water. Then Jerome called out, "Hey dude, Jerome's gone in," he heard Harry say as he came blowing to the surface. "I didn't think he would have the pluck to do it. Did you? How's the water?" George sang out, sniggering. "Lovely," Jerome spluttered back. "You are fools not to come in. I wouldn't have missed this for the world. Come on in, try it. Just a wee bit of determination. That's all it takes." But no, nothing could persuade. Okay, what happened? Though Jerome fell inside the water, then Harry thought that he dived into the water. Okay, no one knew that he lost his balance and fell inside. Okay, no one knew. They thought he went, and with so much of determination and courage, he went inside the water and he was swimming. And Jerome was saying, okay, you also come inside, come in the water. It is a very nice, it is so, I am having so much of enjoyment, you also come in. Then they were sneaking, they were making fun of him. They were asking, how is the water? And so then Jerome said, okay, it is lovely. Okay, you are fools not to come inside. Come on in. You should not miss this experience. You should come inside and have a swim. So, but he was telling so many things, but his friends would not listen. Okay, they thought that he fell in the he did not fall in the water, but he made his mind and he dived into the water in order to swim. Okay, but what happened? His friends came and they asked, how is the water? And so Jerome did not show that he fell in the water by mistake, but he was telling them, you are missing this, you will miss this, please come inside and have a swim. But his friends would not listen, okay, and would not come in the water. Jerome was very cold when he got back onto the boat, and in his hurry to get his shirt on, accidentally jerked it into the water. It annoyed him all the more because George found it very amusing and guffawed. Okay, so what happened? Jerome was feeling very cold. Okay, he fell in the water. It was biting cold, and somehow he got back onto the boat, and he was in a hurry to put on his shirt. But since he was in a hurry, he accidentally dropped the shirt and it fell in the water, and it made George very angry because he found he found George seeing all this, and he made fun of Jerome because Jerome's shirt had fallen in the water. There was no shirt for him to put, and he was feeling very cold. So, in the next class, we will see what happens next, whether he will get a shirt or whether he will die because of cold, or he would have a hell of a time in the boat, being made fun of by his friends. Okay, so we will see all that. So today what we learned was, okay, Jerome had to take the decision whether to go in the water and swim. because it was Jerome's idea, and he wanted to show his friends that he was courageous enough, because it was not a bad idea to swim in the cold water. But in order to save his face, he just went to a tree which was already uh, which had its dip on the water. He just climbed over that, and he wanted to wet his leg. It was biting cold, and he wanted to get back to the boat. So when he tried getting back to the boat, he mistakenly he fell into the water. So his friends thought that he was swimming. Okay, he made up his mind he was swimming. Then his friends asked how was water. Then he said, okay, it is very lovely, you should come inside and swim. But his friends would not listen, and they made fun of him. So somehow it was very cold, and somehow Jerome got back onto the boat, and it was biting cold, and he wanted to wear his shirt. So when he was about to wear the shirt, he lost balance and lost the shirt in the water. So he did not have anything to wear. So when the shirt fell into the water, he was very angry, because George found what had happened, and he made fun of, he laughed very loudly, saying George dropped his and seeing Jerome drop his shirt in the water, and there was nothing for him to wear. Okay, I think it is clear to you. So we have some vocabulary. So here these are the words, new words which you can learn. Okay, these are very simple words, and some there are idioms also. There are some idioms also. So I'll just read it for you. So harebrained means silly or stupid. Then relish or enjoyment or delight in something. Jeers means to speak mockingly or make fun of. Then have the pluck means have the courage. Sniggering, to laugh in a mean, sly way. Then guffawed means laughed loud and heartily, roared with laughter. Okay, so these are the meanings. So we have a worksheet to do. So this one we need to write with regard to the context. So I didn't think he would have the pluck to do it. Did you? Have the pluck to do it means have the courage to do it. Okay, so identify the speaker and the listener. Then B, who is the he referred to? Then what did he have the pluck to do? Okay, then the last question, what does this reveal about the speaker's opinion? Okay, so these are the questions, the worksheets. So write the questions and find out the answers. So I hope today's class is clear to you. Thank you and bye.